just some foundational questions here first, because I've noticed that you've discussed that like a large percentage of people who are like struggling with some symptoms that get labeled in a psychiatric system, like anxiety, ADHD, could actually be rooted back to like fundamental problems in like breathing dysfunction. Mm-hmm. Can you kind of let me know what people should be looking for and explain really what are those dysfunctional areas that can be corrected?
Mm-hmm. Yep. So there's definitely a lot of interplay between breathing, sleep, and mental state and emotional. And so back to what we were talking about in the very beginning, when you did the intro about, has your doctor asked you about how you breathe or how you sleep? So, for a child that is now being questioned whether they have ADHD, and they're in the school and the teacher thinks, their behavior really is reflecting a lot of hyperactivity, can't stay still, can't focus. And then you probably know more about the process than I would about how that child ends up being labeled and put on medication. But I would say 90% of those children have not been asked or observed for how are they breathing? How are they sleeping at night?
I'd say 99.9%.
Yes, right.
In fact, I've never even heard of it before.
Yeah. It absolutely is related. So what happens with an adult who's not breathing well at night and say they're having a restless night of sleep and they're getting night after night of that, they get tired and they get exhausted. And their energy might be very low. But for a child and their nervous system, it's the opposite. They get hyperactive, and that's proven. And I do feel like it's an area that I would love to try to get more awareness around. Because obviously my second board certification is in pediatric anesthesia. So I've done tons of tonsillectomy, adenoidectomies for children who aren't breathing well at night. And yes, maybe they have large tonsils, but again, their ENTs, I asked the guy I worked with recently, I'm like, so after you take the tonsils out and the adenoids out, do you address their behavior around breathing? He's like, oh no, they just go back to breathing normal. And I'm like, I'm not so sure about that because one, I don't think you asked them in the first place. And so there's so many kids that could really be helped by a little bit earlier detection of their sleeping habits and just getting back to just closing their mouth at night. I think that in the talk that I gave, I showed you that picture, that photo of a young child. Well, I think he was maybe 5. He got that gerbil and then he started getting allergic reaction. And so his nose was stuffed all the time. And so he started breathing through his mouth. Within 3 years, the cranial facial structure of his entire face changed. And that's how important breathing is at night, is that the whole anatomy is going to shift.